Have you ever been scrolling through your phone, looking at photos from the previous year of your life and reminiscing, looking at videos and, things you had done? Well, I did that recently, and I was struck with an idea, with a thought that I don't think we really give much credence to. And it's how dynamically your life can change in a single year. You see, this time last year, I was cutting grass in a veterans memorial cemetery. I work with a landscaping team, and I suppose it was quite an honor to see the number of family members who would come to, honor their loved ones who had died in either a world war or since serving. But I feel like God had a unique plan for me in being and cutting grass there. You see, on one of these days, I saw a tombstone with my first name on it. And then, not very many moments later, as I cut around all these tombstones, I saw my last name on a different tombstone. And I don't know how frequently you give thought to the fact that at some point your life will end. But in that moment, I was kind of locked in to the reality that my existence will cease at some point, maybe not too far into the future. For a lot of folks, I'm almost 40. For a lot of people, their life ends, at some point in their 80s. What struck me was that I needed to make a decision about how I desired to spend the rest of my days, how I would serve people, how I would serve my family. And I made a decision then that I would do something. I would do not anything, but I would do something to try to steward the gifts that God had given me better. I believe that one of them is communication. I believe that another one of them is the ability to encourage people and to help get them closer to the dream or the vision that's in their heart. I'd done it for years in ministry, and I got an ad one day on my either it was Facebook or something like that, and the ad was for a course in marketing. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's something about what I'm learning. Maybe there's something about my life that could be applied to marketing and helping people to communicate what God has given them better to those who need their services, right? What's wild is that this course, it cost probably a month's wages for me, which, having 3 children at the time, was not a very pleasant prospect for my bride. But I got the course. And I'm waking up early in the morning, taking this class, doing this work. And what was hard was I had to not only spend that money on the course, but I had to not work in the field with my friends. So not only did I invest this money, but I lost the money that I normally would be making, right? So I'm like, this has to work or it has to work. So I go through this course, and I don't think I've ever been more tired. Learning 5-6 hours a day, taking in all of this information. I was way more tired doing that than I was. I was way more tired doing that than I was cutting grass. Until I go through this course, I've learned all of these things. Thinking of all these ways that I can help and serve other people's businesses, but I still didn't feel like this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like the fullness of it, right? And at the end of it, I came in contact with business coaching. The guy who was doing the course, he was talking about a mentor of his. And I come across this brilliant man online who loves the Lord, whose clients pay him $40,000 an hour to learn wisdom from King Solomon's life about how they'll lead their business. And I'm like, God dog, I didn't know that this existed. And I don't know that I think I could do something like that, but there's something about giving people wisdom that can transform their life that feels like I should be doing that. And so I go to this guy's conference, the last one. I find out it's going to be the last conference that he has like this, right? There's some pretty crazy, miraculous stuff that happens in between because I didn't have the money for it at the time. What happened was my inheritance from my father, which had been tied up in probate for 4 years, had just miraculously gotten released to me. And I had enough to go to this conference, right? So I go there, and I'm in this room with all of these people, and I have a conversation with a gentleman about what my vision is for the business. I'm dreaming of being able to help people take part in the wealth transfer from the wicked to the righteous. And at the end of our conversation, he says, "Hey man, give me your number. I'd love to keep in contact with you." Our conversation ends. The conference, it transformed me. It helped me to broaden my horizons and to see things and people and opportunities differently, But I get home, and the very next day, I get a phone call from this guy. World class type of person. If I say too much, I might risk revealing who he is. But for me, it was a big deal that a man of his caliber would be asking me for my number. But he says, "Hey man, can you ask God if I can be your first client?" And it floored me, rocked me. I'm like, wait a second, what? Wait, like, what are you, like, yes? I want to say yes. Can I just say yes? He says, "No, man, if your business is supposed to be hearing from God and helping to communicate with people what God wants to say to them, then your whole business has to be led by hearing his voice." I'm like, okay, I guess you're right. If it's consulting that's led by God's voice, I guess we kind of have to do it that way, right? Well, I pray 2 days. He says yes. And my very first client is this world-class, person. So I'm sharing with them, blessing them, coaching them. And I'm scrolling back through my pictures. Back to where I was, I'm scrolling through my pictures and I'm thinking, God, you've completely transformed my life in a year because I was willing to take a step outside of my comfort zone. And I'm probably going to say this a lot, but the life that you desire to live is just on the outside of your comfort zone right now. If the life that you live, if the life that you desire could be attained inside your comfort zone, you'd already have that life. And if you are willing to take a risk, to take a step in the direction of what you feel like God's made you for, I think that he can collapse time. With the right people in your life, he can absolutely collapse time. Ruth went from picking grain in a field to owning the field in about a week, just because she was where God told her to be. So I'm pretty sure that you taking a risk, stepping outside your comfort zone, could transform your life. Let me bless you. God, I ask that everybody who's listening to this, everybody in the sound of my voice, that they would find a boldness to trying to take risks that don't make sense, but they make plenty of faith. That they take risks that don't make sense, but they make faith. And that you open doors, you'd open impossible doors for them. Open impossible doors for them. That you bless their feet, bless their steps. And look, if you like some encouragement, some coaching, like reach out to me. Send me a message, leave me a comment. If I can be a blessing to you, if I think I can help you to start making steps towards your vision, then I'll tell you. If I don't think I can, then I'll point you to somebody else. But if you believe that there's more that God has for you, you do a disservice to you, your family, and the world to not try. Love you. Bless you.